I love making something out of nothing. I'm not trained, but I am brave and determined. Of course, I could hire a professional, but DIY first. And I do need to figure something out for clamps, but I think for the smaller clamps, I may want to utilize the workbench, but I haven't quite decided. So also I have my tools and I haven't quite decided what to do with those. So hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be pivoting over to the workbench. Now I built this workbench a little while back. It's sturdy, it's been doing a pretty good job. There's a few problems with it though. When I originally built this, I wanted to be able to incorporate dust collection into the workbench for the table saw, but the space was too short. The shop vac that I was planning to use is too tall to fit underneath there. That kind of threw a wrench in that plan. This workbench was also intended to serve as an outfeed table, but it's about 3/4 inches too tall. So when I push things from the table saw, they're running into the side of the workbench instead of going across the top. And the third problem with the workbench is that I never did like permanently attach a top to it. And then the top that I had on there, I took it and used it as scrap when I built some other stuff. So I don't actually have a top. This is just my last full sheet of plywood that I have here to finish this project, if I'm going to finish it without having to buy anything extra. And so that's what I have. That means I don't have a top. So I have a tabletop that I got for maybe like $10 at an estate sale. It's like a butcher block, just a table with no legs. And I thought about using that, but I just looked at it. I'm kind of on the fence because I have something else I could potentially do with that. I have table legs, and there is an area in the house where I do need a table, so I may repurpose that and just put the legs that I have on there and take that in the house. I'm not quite sure, but I do have that as an option if I need to use it in that way, but I haven't really decided. This is the list I came up with. I don't know if it is feasible, but one thing that's on the list obviously that has to happen, I need to make it 3/4 of an inch shorter. Also, I need to figure out dust collection. I still want to try to incorporate it some way using the shop vac that I have. So I need to figure out how to make that work, if I can make that work. I also have a little shop blower, this little thing here. So this comes in handy. Hopefully I didn't ruin it because I did accidentally spill water on it. So hopefully it still works, but I would like to have this handy, like very handy, in the workbench area because I think that's where it'll probably get the most use. Also, I have clamps. I have not figured out where or how to store clamps, so potentially I could use some part of the workbench for that. That would make them handy, but again, haven't fully committed to that either. I would like to have a pull out, some kind of pull out mechanism as like a little drop spot where I can just put tools down, not necessarily on top of the workbench, but you know, beside me or something like that. So some kind of shelf or some kind of mechanism that can come out where I can have just a little area to put stuff down would be handy. One thing that's a must-have is storage for these foam insulation squares that I have. So I use these to actually cut the wood. So I put this between the wood and the tabletop so that, you know, it's kind of like to protect the tabletop from the saw blade. And so I need to have somewhere in the workbench to store these. That's a must-have for sure. And then also the tabletop itself needs to extend past the base of the workbench so that I can be able to clamp things down easily to the tabletop. So one of the things that happens, because this is not secured to the tabletop, they can tend to slide around, which is not good. It's actually not safe with, you know, a live saw blade. So to be able to clamp things down to the tabletop is kind of a necessity. And I've never used like I don't know what you call them, the bench clamps that, like, what do you call those? Whatever the clamp things in that like like you have the holes in the top of your workbench and you like stick it down in there and it holds things down. Like, I have never used that kind of mechanism before. I also know that they have the kind that can be on tracks, like a clamp on the bench top that can be in a track. Still, I haven't used that either. There is a new store that I found that sells wood and plywood, and they seem to have a different selection than what I can find at places like Home Depot or Lowe's, and potentially better quality material maybe. So Corey and I are gonna go by there. Hey guys, it's Friday. I am off today. I didn't feel like getting out. Maybe I would have felt like getting out earlier, but Corey had my truck and he was gone for a while, so now it's like almost 3:30 and I didn't feel like getting out, but I decided to just do this thing, just come and get this done. And I'm here at Interstate Plywood. I just googled plywood dealers near me and this place came up. The website said that they do sell to individuals. I found another place that only sells to, I guess, like companies or whatever. Maybe it's like a shipping kind of thing, but this place said they sell to individuals, and I am looking for better quality materials that I can use for my projects that won't break the bank. And I was like really disappointed with the quality of materials that Home Depot sent me back whenever that was, a year ago, when I made that big purchase and I had it delivered. And you know, when you're not picking your own supply, you're just at the mercy of the people that work there. So I'm gonna go ahead and check out and see what they got and see if I can find, I'm just pricing stuff. I'm not gonna buy anything today, but I'm just kind of trying to see what the options are so I can plan and decide if I'll be coming back here to get my next supplies or going back to Home Depot. So let's go in here and check out what they have.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. I haven't been here before. I was really just trying to check out what y'all had and just kind of price some materials. I normally get my stuff at Home Depot and I'm just looking for better quality. So, okay. All right. Okay. So
Go ahead,
just look around. All right. Thank you. Looks like they have drawer sides already made with the router lines already. It's cool. Yeah. I'm just looking around. Yeah, I haven't been here before, so I'm trying to see what y'all have to offer.
Well, if you have any
Pre-finished. Thank you. This is pre-finished. It's already got the clear coats on. Okay. Hardwood, red oak. That's nice. Red oak, tight joints, white oak. Nice. So this is MDF with a white oak veneer. It's dark in here. Okay, this is Baltic birch. Super thin. It's 1/2 inch. 1/4 inch birch. Damaged. So this section looks like damaged material that I guess you can get it at a discount. And I was looking at these. Looks like melamine or laminated sheets. That might be good for a countertop. More drawer parts. Look at wood. So we got poplar. What's this? Trim, baseboards, cedar, white oak, oak. Okay. We got oak, raw oak, and maple. That's nice. And alder, cedar. That's pretty. Cherry, hard maple. Hickory. That's knotty hickory and clear hickory. Okay. Mahogany. Fancy. And white oak and walnut. I love walnut. My favorite. Y'all, I've been tripping. I've been missing out. I should have been coming here. They got everything I need and better quality, The customer service is excellent. You know, it's just like, where you been all my life? And they deliver, and their delivery fee is less than half of what Home Depot's is. Like, I will definitely be back to Interstate Plywood. Definitely will be back. I went once and I saw that they have a section for pieces that are damaged where you can get them at a big discount, and I did see some laminated like MDF pieces, and I almost bought it when I was there, but I wasn't sure, and I really didn't have it anything set up to be able to transport it because I didn't think it would fit in my truck. But we're gonna go back, and if they still have that piece, I may get it if it's reasonable price, and if not, I'll just figure something else out. Obviously, I can use this piece of plywood that I have sitting up here. I just have to cut it down. But then I would need to buy more wood to be able to finish this tall cabinet. So I'm still kind of up in the air. I really have not figured it out. But that's the mission. And I think I need to do this first because depending on what kind of storage solutions I come up with for the workbench will dictate then what's left over that I need to store in this tall cabinet. It'll give me a better idea of what I need to do with that. So that's the plan for now, and we'll just see how things turn out. Honestly, guys, I'm just winging it. I don't know what I'm about to do. So I guess let me see if I can figure something out. Done some investigating and I need to do some thinking. So one thing that I have ruled out is using the tabletop that I got at that estate sale here because it's not long enough. It's only 60 inches long and this is 72, so that's not going to work, so we can rule that out. Option 2 is to use this piece of plywood here that I have. I could cut that down and make that the tabletop. And then I would just need to figure something else out, buy more wood to do the doors for this cabinet over here. So that's option 2. Option 3 is if I can go to this store over here that I was telling you about and find a damaged piece that I can get for a really low price and use that. So I have the dimensions. It's 3 by 6 basically. So plus I would want maybe an inch or 2 overhang, or I would add some type of trim around it so that it could finish it off nicely, and also I would be able to clamp things down to it with that little lip there. So that's option 3. Now, second issue is dust collection. So this space here between the bottom of this workbench, let's go down. So the issue is this space here in between where this shelf is and the top of this lip here is not tall enough for this shop vac to fit under there. Even if I take the wheels off, it's still going to be too tall. I do have a few options and I need to really think and figure out which direction I want to go. I can modify this bench, although I'm pretty sure I used glue and screws. So it may not be so easy to take apart if I tried, and I just flipped this thing over and flipped it back, and it's solid. So I don't know if that is a feasible option. Obviously this is wood. I can cut this off if I wanted to, and I don't know if that would affect the sturdiness of it. If I did cut this off to give more space in between here, I would need to add an additional brace at some point back here past where the shop vac would be, and then it could maybe slide in here and, you know, slide in and out from this direction. That could potentially work. Another option would be to modify the bottom, and I wasn't able to get this shelf piece off. It's not attached, it's just in place with tension. So I mean, obviously I could beat it out of place and get it off and then modify, but I'm kind of reluctant to do that because I don't want to compromise the wheels or make that unstable. So maybe that's out. Oh, my knees. So long story short, I need to do some more thinking to figure out, you know, how to problem solve this situation, come up with something. So if I have dust collection on one side, then I would need storage for these. These are too tall. These are too tall to stand upright. So I guess I would need to be able to slide them in and out this way and for them to lay flat. So potentially that could go in the middle if I have like a compartment to slide those in and out. And then on the other side, I could potentially have additional storage. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. I have some drawers that are left over from when I demoed my kitchen. I kept the drawers and door fronts, which I may get rid of those because what am I gonna do with them, honestly? But I still have them over there, so either I'm going to use them or I'm going to get rid of them. And it looks like from here, just looking over there, it looks like there are maybe three drawers over there that I could potentially use in here. I have some drawer slides that may already work, maybe the right length. I'm not sure, I haven't checked, but I do have some that I found as I was cleaning up, and that could potentially, you know, help put some additional storage in the workbench itself. Also on the far end, maybe I can have something there for clamps, at least smaller clamps, to just, you know, like a pegboard type, I don't know, something. Anyway, what I think I'm gonna do, me and Corey, I think we're gonna go to check out that store and just see what they have, and then when I get back, I am going to just do some thinking and planning and figure out the best way to utilize this bench, and then maybe tomorrow come back, get an early start with a fresh mind and a plan, and see if I can execute something, figure something out. The other alternative that I thought about potentially for the dust collection, if big if, but if this, I don't know if this, like from the top to this shelf here, is tall enough, but hear me out, just listen. I also thought about, if necessary, what if I like cut out an area of this shelf, like cut the shelf and have it open, but reinstall that piece of the shelf underneath. So I don't know if that makes sense, but obviously the shelf is sitting on 2x4 braces underneath that shelf. And if I cut that shelf, just a straight line across, I could potentially take that cut off and screw it in at the bottom. So it would be kind of like an inset shelf, like 2 levels, like one that's lower and the other one that's like how it is now. And if I did it that way, would need to be able to swing open so that I could open the top and remove the shop vac from the top to clean it out, change the filters, do whatever. So the top itself would need to be able to open on this side where the bottom shelf is lower, if that makes sense. So that's why I said I am going to like step away, really think this through before I just jump in and start doing stuff. I'm gonna figure out what's the best thing, and I may come up with something totally different that I didn't even mention. But perhaps this all sounds very confusing, but maybe it'll make sense once I get myself together and actually like execute. But I'm gonna step away, take a little break, go get my thoughts together, come back and see if we can figure this thing out. Okay? It's the next day. Yesterday, Corey and I went to that store I was telling you about, and they did have what I was looking for. I did find a 4x8 sheet of, it's really like melamine on top of particle board. I found a 4x8 sheet of that. And that was kind of what I was thinking when I was thinking about the bench top for this. Originally, I was thinking maybe I can like get a sheet, like a laminate sheet, and apply it myself with the glue and all of that. That's something I've never done before. I wasn't really sure how much that cost, but I knew that, you know, it would be an additional cost if I did that. But when I found this store and I saw that they have a section for damaged goods, I thought maybe something like that would work. So I did find a full 4x8 sheet, and just looking at it on both sides, I couldn't really tell why it was in the damaged section. And when the person that worked there came and looked at it, he didn't know why it was there either. But I told him, I was like, look, don't go trying to move it now. The things in that section are $15. And so I went ahead and bought it because I was like, you can't really beat that price. And I felt like $15 is not much of an investment for something that might get pretty beat up over time. The reason I wanted some like material like that is because I felt like it would be easier to clean glue or things like that up off of it. If something spills on it, it'll be easier to clean than if it was just, you know, plywood or whatever. So that was what I was thinking. So I went ahead and bought it, but I didn't really have a way to get it home. So it's still there, and I'm still trying to figure out how to actually get it here because it won't fit in my truck, and I don't have a trailer or anything like that. So I'm still working on that part of it, but I did purchase it. So that's what the bench top is going to be made of. So I can save my one sheet of plywood that I have left for the tall cabinet. We'll just see how that works out. So back to the workbench. I did, like I said, I did some thinking, and I think the best thing to do is to take this step by step. One thing that I'm going to do is just test out this, what do you call this? The shop vac. I'm going to test it out on here to see if what I'm thinking may actually work. I think I'm willing to do what I said yesterday as far as taking one portion of this and dropping it down lower and having the top be able to swing open to be able to access that area. I think that'll cause the least amount of damage to the structure that is already here. And although it's not really ideal, I think it'll work and it'll get done what I'm trying to get done. So also that would also allow me to keep this on wheels. So if I did ever want to take it out and move it somewhere else, I would be able to do that with no problem. So I think that's what I'm going to do. And maybe I will just take this step by step so that I don't get overwhelmed. I'm also thinking about what the workbench would look like on camera. You know, if the camera is where I'm standing and facing this way, the front side of this is, everything is just open right now. But I think I want to put some kind of panel, just kind of close this section off. So the first thing I'm going to do today is figure out how to get this shop vac into this workbench and make it not be too tall. So I think I have pretty much decided that I'm going to cut a section of this lower shelf out and be able to sit the shop vac in there. And ideally also a bucket, because if I can put the bucket and the shop vac in here, then that's just going to make it less often that I'll have to be opening this up to clean things out. It'll last longer and hold more. So that's what I'm gonna do. Maybe while I'm down here, I need to explore how to make it a little bit shorter. Okay guys, so I'm gonna pause here for today. I was able to get this front panel on, and I think if I can get this sanded down and paint it, like paint this whole frame area here, I think that's gonna look nice, especially once I get the black top on here. And I think because the edges are going to be like exposed particle board, I think what I'm going to do is make trim pieces to go around the black border so that it will be like a solid wood edge all the way around. And then that will also be what I can use to clamp things down to the table. At least that's the plan for right now, unless I come up with something else. And I just brad nailed this in. I think that'll be sufficient enough. Anyway, I don't know how much more I'll be able to get into this workbench besides the dust collection on this side. This side I can use for storage for my little insulation panels. And I may be able to put a second shelf on top of that. And then I can also figure something out on this side in this area here, potentially. What I have not done is figured out clamp storage and tool storage, like my power tools. And I'm trying not to have a tool wall. I would prefer for everything to be put away, but I'm not ruling it out. We'll just have to see. We'll just see. So I'm gonna pause here for today. Need to go charge up my batteries and all of that. And so maybe I'll come back out tomorrow and see what else I can come up with. But I'm gonna do a little bit more thinking about what to do on this side. So remember I said I kind of wanted like a landing spot where I could have a pull out to be able to sit tools down. Potentially that could go here above where these insulation sheets are, and then that would leave a little bit of space on the end here where I could potentially have some open shelving over here, or potentially clamp storage that would be accessed from this side over here. I'm gonna do a little bit more thinking tonight and see, like I gotta get my creative juices going. So I'll just do a little bit more thinking and see what I come up with, and I'll check back in with y'all later once I get myself together. Hey guys, I thought I would pop in and just kind of talk through what's actually going on right now this minute. Today is February 15th and I have not been out here in several days because from the last thing that you guys saw, I guess I have what I would call the equivalency of writer's block, maybe DIYer's block, because I pivoted to work on this workbench, and I also have this tall cabinet to do behind me, and I have utilized a lot of storage with these cabinets that I have over here, and then this tall cabinet is going to be for bigger, larger items. The problem that I'm having is that I'm having to pivot from my original idea with the workbench because the dust collection section is taking up a significant amount of space. And so I'm just not quite sure what to do. Also, I have clamps that I need to store, and some of them are pretty tall. So I'm trying to think of what's the best way to store those, and I don't want any like exposed tools just out. So I'm having a little bit of difficulty trying to decide which direction to go and what I want to do. And so when it gets like that, I tend to start procrastinating. And if I'm just being totally transparent, the other issue is that mentally I have moved on from this project. I've been working on this garage for so long, and I appreciate all of y'all that's been here with me every step of the way. I've been working on this for so long that I'm just mentally ready to move on to something else. I'm ready to look at something else, think about something else, do something else. I've already started planning my next interior project, and it's almost garden season. So I have that also working in my mind. And I think with all of that going on, it's kind of creatively, I feel blocked in here. So that's where we are. So I don't know if this is an outro to the footage that I filmed the other day, if this is a midpoint. I don't know what's about to happen. I just know that I have posted the last video that I had edited that went live today, and I don't know what's about to happen with this next footage. I don't know if I'm gonna have a video next week, which would be the 22nd of February. Will that video be this footage, or will it be something else? I don't know. So I think what I'm going to do today, because mentally I'm not in a mind space to actually do work out here. But what I think I will do is kind of take inventory of what's left. Like, what else needs to be stored in this workbench versus the tall cabinet, and also, are there items that should be stored maybe on the other side of the garage? I'll have a wall there once I process through all of this furniture that I have sitting around. Hopefully that'll open up more space and maybe more access to the wall on the other side. I have my ladders over there, and I think that's a good spot for them for now, so I'll probably leave those where they are. I have maybe a little space on this wall here. Also, see, this is the other thing that's kind of tripping me up. The way I built a tall cabinet, I don't really have the ability to take the shelves out and adjust them, because the brace pieces, the pieces that are like in the back that are screwed into the wall and are under each shelf, just these two here, they're pocket holes screwed in from the back side. So I don't have access to those. And I think they're screwed into the shelf also from the bottom. So I don't have access to that. So if I try to take these shelves out, I'll basically have to rip the pocket holes out, and then they'll just be there. So I don't want to do that. But I thought about maybe making some clamp storage into the doors of this cabinet so that they can just kind of hang on the door, so I can open the door and get to the clamps, but then also have storage behind the door as well. But then again, there's like a weight issue. Like, is that gonna be too heavy? Will it cause the wood to warp? Like, how can I make that work? I just don't know. So y'all pray for me, because yeah, the struggle is real today. So maybe this is an outro and this is to be continued. I don't know, but we will see. So I'm going to just take some inventory and see what needs to go somewhere, and then I will either see y'all next week if this is the end of this video, or I'll see y'all in a second if it's not. So to be continued.